You know, research shows us pretty convincingly that how a person responds to the gospel, to Christ's life, death, and resurrection, is usually determined before he or she reaches the age of 18. But there seems to be a gap between the church and America's youth culture, a chasm. Bob Lenz and Life Promotions have been bridging that chasm for 25 years now. Every year, thousands of people under the age of 18 are introduced to a real relationship with Jesus. Here's the story of one of those people.
I was in 6th grade and Brian was in 7th grade, and it was our first time ever going on a youth group retreat where we were starting to get really involved in our church. And I was going to church with Brian because he was getting really into it, and I had a lot of good friends there. So I thought, hey, this retreat, all my friends are going, it'll be a good time. So we went, and it was fun. We played games, there were songs. I didn't really know any of the songs, but it was fun. And Brian seemed really involved with what was going on. And I was joking around with my friends the whole time, not really listening to the speaker. I felt like Brian was really upset a lot of the time about a lot of things, kind of moody, kind of kept to himself, bottled up inside. And when he got back, he just went up to my mom and he just opened up about everything. He told her about how he was feeling with my dad and his new wife, and how he felt like Mom didn't spend much time with us anymore, and just that sort of stuff. We went to Creation because we became really good friends with people from church, and our church had been going there for a while, and some of our friends said, hey, Brian will be really into this music, and like the whole family should come because it's really a family sort of atmosphere there. And so Brian was really excited to hear all his new favorite bands, and we went, and yeah, camping for 5 days. I wasn't really excited, not my idea of a nice summer vacation, but I had to go. Our entire group was sitting there just listening to him. And I remember I heard my friend saying, Jordan, this guy, he is so funny. He was here for the past 5 years and he is so funny. I can't wait for you to hear him. I'm like, okay, I guess get some laughs out of this. And so we sit down and he starts talking, and I'm like, hey, he is kind of funny. And that's pretty much I was listening to what he was saying, but I was appreciating the jokes more, I guess, at that point. So I turn around and I see my mom sitting there with her friends, and she was just crying, and I'm like, something's changing again. What happened with Brian, this is about to happen again. And at a point in Bob's talk, he said, if anybody would like to stand up and say that they accept Christ in their hearts. And my mom stood up, and my mom became a Christian that day, and we started this really close bond with Bob, and I could tell my mom was changing just like Brian, and they were so happy, and I was just looking at them like, you guys are changing, I'm still here, what do I do, my mom had been talking about Bob Lenz all year, telling her story all year. And she got really excited about the idea of him coming to my middle school and speaking to the kids at my school. June 6th rolls around, Bob's coming, Bob's here that day. Everybody's excited. He speaks at my school, and he comes to speak at my school, and after the assembly, the energy in the gymnasium where he was speaking was everybody was so excited and just saying, wow, this guy is really good. This guy's, like, I wonder what else he has to share with us. I could tell that everybody was really interested with it. And so that night, Bob was coming to speak at my church. After the point where everybody leaves, I was with a couple of my friends and my mom and my brother and Bob and everybody, and I didn't know that earlier in that day my mom was talking to Bob about how she was worried about me. 'Cause I really wasn't doing well in school, and I was having a lot of problems with my dad and his new wife and my new step-siblings. And so my mom talks to Bob about how she's really worried about me, and Bob comes up to me and he says, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Oh, nothing." And he said, "Jordan, what's really going on?" And I just broke down. I started crying like I am right now. I just broke down, and he took me into the corner and he just prayed with me. And he said, "Jordan, do you accept Christ?" And there was nothing more at that point that I wanted to do. I was speechless, and there were pretty much no words to describe, like, the feeling that I had at that point, knowing that he was so close to me with that, and he was really there, like, caring about what decision I was making, trying to lead me in the right direction, making me feel better about who I was and what my life was and how it was gonna be. Since then, Jesus, I always felt, has been with me through everything, through different problems still with my dad, and when I felt like my mom was being hard on me with too much stuff, or when my dyslexia was acting out and I was feeling kind of stupid again, and I was just so happy I could tell that Jesus was there with me.
I guess that's the story of 3 people. But that's how it's supposed to work, isn't it? Spreading the good news, making disciples, changing lives. Right now, Bob and Life Promotions reach 14 youth a day. Our goal is 18. But we can't do it alone. We need people like Jordan and Brian. We need people like you.